Right, I really had to make this video because Dana White has really, I think he's really wrong on this one. This guy is annoying now. Blaming John Jones. By the way, got my Nike t-shirt here, like who John Jones is being sponsored by. Blaming John Jones for the reason why he's cancelled UFC 151. How ridiculous is that? To blame one guy why the whole event is cancelled. If Dana White did his job and the matchmakers and made a worthy card, then even if the main event wasn't going to happen, everybody else would be happy to see the other fights. But instead, he blames it on John Jones. Because John Jones won't fight Chael Sonnen on 8 days' notice. Why should he fight him on 8 days' notice? You got to remember, Chael Sonnen is a freestyle wrestler. Dan Henderson is a Greco-Roman wrestler, right? So John Jones has been training for a Greco-Roman wrestler. He hasn't been training for the takedowns that Chael Sonnen's going to be throwing at him. He's not prepared for Chael Sonnen. John Jones is a professional fighter. He's not a barroom fighter. And Dana White, with his WWE style chatting about this, you know, oh, he should fight him anytime, anywhere, any place. This ain't what UFC is supposed to be about. And how can you give a guy whose first fight in the 205 division is a title fight? How many other guys would he do that for? Just because Chael Sonnen's got a big mouth, and also I think it might be a little bit of white privilege there. Because he's a white guy with a big mouth, he gets to go straight to fight the champion. I think John Jones is right to deny him that. Let him earn his spot like every other 205 fighter. Why should he go right to the top of the heap just because he's got a big mouth and he's a white guy? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And Dana White is making a mockery of the UFC by doing these WWE moves. And everyone else, all these other fans who are backing him are not real mixed martial arts fans. They don't know what goes into their training, which goes into their studying, what goes into their preparing for the fight. He prepared for one fighter and one fighter only, and he's a champion. And he, like I said, he's just been sponsored by Nike. Why would he, put that at risk by possibly losing the fight to Chael Sonnen? All because he never had the time to train and prepare for him. Just to fight, it doesn't just take brawling. It takes using your brain as well, and that's what John Jones does. That's like how Tyson used to fight. Tyson was the top of the game for a long time because he spent lots of time studying video on his opponents, studying their weaknesses and their strengths. And Dana White wants him just to go in there without no preparation, and he blames the whole card on him being lost because John Jones won't fight. That's ridiculous. That's totally ridiculous. They really should have sorted out this card before, put better fights on there, and made it a worthwhile card where they could move the event before the main event up to the main event slot. That's really what they should have done. But they don't think it's worthy of moving to the main event slot. So how is that John Jones' fault? It's not his fault. And they're masking it like it's really his fault, and it's not. It's because they never matchmade very well. That's not John Jones' job. It's not his problem. It's not his problem. If his fighter comes out injured, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Say to Dan Henderson, "Oh, you have to fight because otherwise you're gonna jeopardize our fight card. You have to fight injured." It's a similar situation. Jones ain't ready for Chael Sonnen on 8 days' notice as the light heavyweight champion. Plus, he's not prepared to give Chael Sonnen a spot just because he's got a big mouth. And personally, I think there's a little skullduggery going on. I think this was somehow organised to come out this way, because all of a sudden, Chael Sonnen is calling out John Jones. Just a week before the fight, he's calling him out. And then, all of a sudden, Chael Sonnen gets a shot at John Jones. How's that? What chances of that is happening? I think somehow this was organised, and I think Henderson had a part to play in it as well. I think Henderson bottled out of the fight and knew he wasn't ready for Jones, so they got Chael Sonnen to start flapping his big gums about John Jones, and then when Henderson fell out, he said, "We got the man for the spot." And if this is the truth, and Dana's just been lying about this, Dana is a bigger arsehole than I thought he was. Because why don't they just be honest about things? You know, look, we haven't put a very good card together, so we're going to cancel the card. Not, oh, John Jones is not going to fight Chael Sonnen because Henderson has pulled out, so we're going to pull the card. You can't hold one UFC event on just one fight. What if that fight was over in 5 seconds, and the rest of the card has nothing to deliver? All those people paid their money for nothing. And Dana White, what about all the people that have booked hotels, flied over to the fights, taken time off work, and so on and so forth? How are they going to be compensated for that? Yeah, you can compensate them for the tickets, but the rest of it, how are you going to do that? Blame it on, what are you going to say? I'll put it on Jones's credit card because it's Jones's fault. It wasn't Jones's fault. It was the UFC's fault. They should have put the thing together right. Really, I mean, come on. Let's be grown up about this. You can't blame John Jones for not taking a new fighter on 8 days' notice. Yeah, some people have taken new fighters in the past on that sort of notice, but that's their prerogative. Plus, Chael Sonnen, Jones already said he's not going to give Chael Sonnen a spot just because he's got a big mouth. Let him earn his spot like everyone else. So I think he was right to stand his ground. Otherwise, the UFC would go in this stupid direction of WWE, where everyone who's got a big mouth gets a title shot, and that's it. Nothing to do with talent, just got to have a big mouth and you get a title shot. That's BS. Come on, UFC, sort it out.